Hey everyone, it's Rod with Power Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ Stocks, Crypto Assets, and Interviews. Today's Wednesday, June 28th. Happy Hump Day. Hope you're doing awesome. And in today's video, we're going to be discussing the stock Organigram, ticker symbol OGI. We're going to be looking at a technical pattern. It is a bearish continuation pattern that is targeting 30 cents. So we'll do some technical analysis. Also, I want to bring up a few other points as well. But before we get to it, make sure to smash the like, help support me in the channel. It doesn't cost you anything. If you're new, you can subscribe, tick the bell, you'll be notified on any future videos or when I do go live. As a quick reminder, I'm getting close to that 500,000 views, so I should hit that this week, I would think, later on this week. And I really do want to extend my gratitude and thanks to everybody who's supporting me along the way. It definitely wasn't an easy feat, and like I said, I really do appreciate each and every one of you. But moving on, taking a look here. So I did do a video on Organigram. They did approve a 4-to-1 basis for a reverse split, so they're going to be consolidating their shares, and we expected another leg down as a result. And not just that, we also had, I did a video on Canopy Growth. They had a bear flag target of 40 cents USD as well, and that was on the daily time frame, and it did pretty much come to that target today. It actually hit 42 cents. That's the benefit of using technical analysis. And there was even a daily bear flag on Tilray that was targeting $1.24 USD. So if there's just a bear flag on, one name like Organigram, it's a very high probability of it playing out, because bear flags have a very high probability of meeting their targets. But when there's bear flags across the sector, and the leaders in the sector like Canopy Growth and Tilray also have bear flags, Organigram, the more names that have bear flags or a certain pattern in either direction, whether it be bullish or bearish, the more across the sector, the more we're confident in that likelihood of that playing out, right? So the fact that there was tons of bear flags across the sector gave us more confidence that it was likely going to play out on OGI, and it actually did confirm today, but we'll bring that up here in just a moment. But here's the MJ Biz Daily article. So Canadian MJ operator Organigram consolidating its shares to stay on the NASDAQ. That'll be on a 4-to-1 basis, and we should see that on July 7th. So don't be alarmed if we do wake up on July 7th. And then also, speaking of July, we have earnings tentative for July 26th. We'll want to see official confirmation from Organigram as per usual. But the analyst estimates are forecasting 43.39 million in terms of revenue and negative 0.0184 in terms of EPS. We did have positive EPS back in January, so we'll see if we can get back in that. We can see if we can back in that positive territory. But they are expecting earnings to be slightly lower than last quarter, and we did miss on the last 2-quarter estimates. So we'll see if we can get back in line and get back into the winning column here for the revenue and EPS. So we'll see if they can beat those, but that'll be the number to be watching out for. This is in Canadian dollars as well, as they report in Canadian dollars. So once the earnings do come out, those are the numbers to remember: 43.39 million for revenue and negative 0.0184 EPS. If we miss those, then the stock will likely see more downside. But here's the OGI chart. So if you take the Fibonacci tool and you go from the high and then you go to the low here, you'll see that we are targeting 30 cents USD. And then you just take your measured move, you go from the high to the low, and then you move that out to the 0.32 Fibonacci. And anything under 0.4354 is a potential daily bear flag. So we got above it just barely, but got knocked back down. And here we are today, confirming it. So in order to negate it, we needed to get over 43.54 cents, which we failed to do. And then we came back down towards support, and then key support was 37.1 cents. If we lost that support, then we confirmed the daily bear flag. And if we take a look at today, we actually lost it. We hit 0.37. So exactly 37 cents today is the low, and we closed pretty much right at the low of the day. So I wouldn't be surprised, based on the weakness in broader market as well. So the S&P 500 is likely due for some healthy consolidation and a healthy pullback. And then the rest of the sector was down today. CGC down almost 10%, as I mentioned in the video from yesterday. We could see another 14.5% of downside to meet that target, bear flag target of 40 cents. And then today it hit 42 cents. So that's the benefit of technical analysis. It's not a guarantee. Nothing is set in stone, but at least we can be prepared for a certain scenario, right? If the charts are saying, if multiple indicators are saying, and multiple companies in the space are saying that there's bear flags and we're likely heading another leg down, then you can be more prepared, right? Markets can go up, down, or sideways. So you can base your thesis and your game plan around that. Maybe you want a dollar cost average a little slower next time. Maybe you want to, scale in, or you want to play off of support and make a swing trade or a day trade, or maybe even a quick scalp. All of this can play into your strategy, and just another tool in your tool belt. Wouldn't you rather know that something had an 80% chance or a 90% chance probability of going to a certain price target versus not knowing, right? It's just having that extra ammo in your arsenal, so to speak. But like I said, we did confirm that daily bear flag, and we're more than likely due for some consolidation in the broader market, and the sector still remains weak. So again, wouldn't be surprised if we did hit that target of 30 cents. And again, we're going to be consolidating its shares, and historically, leading into a reverse split, we should see weakness continue. And like I said, there's no major catalyst. We could see a Senate floor vote for the safe banking bill, so that could spark some interest here. It really, realistically, could be any week now where we get news of that potential. But there's a lot of catalysts coming, and I'm actually going to be doing a video on Ukraine here. The president of Ukraine actually said that basically because of the war in Russia, legalization of medical MJ may be good to help cope with trauma and things like that. So I'm going to be doing a video on that. There's also a couple other legalization points that I want to mention, developing news stories developing across the globe. So stay tuned for that video. But like I said, from the current low here, we could see on OGI, we could still see another 18 to 19% of downside just to meet that bear flag target of 30 cents. And I would give it a very high probability of playing out based on the fact that, like I said, we have the reverse split coming soon. Historically, that has been proved, it's been proven to show more weakness leading up into that event, and then we should start to recover from there, in my opinion. But it's likely going to be a few more months before we really start to recover. And then if we zoom out here to the weekly time frame on OGI, you can see here that the EMAs have just been an absolute brick wall ever since we had that bear cross. We had a bull cross with the shorter term below the longer term. Price went from about $1.45 all the way up to $6.50 about thereabouts. And then we had the shorter term above the longer term cross. That's a bear cross. And then when that occurred, price was at around $2.70, and then we went all the way down to low 30 cents, right? So we could potentially see a bull cross, but it's likely going to be multiple weeks before we see that cross. Look at here when they were getting close to crossing. It took multiple months for that to cross. So here we are starting to potentially see them curl and cross, but it could be multiple months before we see that happen. And if we zoom out to the monthly time frame, we're right on the low of last month there, and we actually are just barely losing it as well with that daily bear flag confirming today. So again, we still haven't even started the monthly bounce, but we could see a nice move here. If we break the high of last month at 54 cents, we have virtually no resistance all the way up to $1.27. So that could be a nice swing trade to play as well. But like I said, we still need to confirm a monthly bounce by breaking the high of last month, then a higher low and a higher high. And we're still at least 3 or 4 months away from doing that to be absolutely confident that the bottom is in the long-term bottom, and we could potentially be starting a new bull market. And then in terms of the weekly macro indicators, we're still well below the 10-week moving average. We're seeing a stochastic bear cross. We've seen a bull cross of the MACD, which is a little promising, but we're still bearish on 2 of our 3 macro indicators there on the weekly time frame. So still very, very bearish in that regard. In terms of the weekly moving averages, we have nothing nearby until the 50 weekly there at 80 cents. And you can see that has been a brick wall as well. We got very close to seeing a bull cross of the 50 and the 100. We saw that, but we got very close to seeing a bull cross of the 50 and the 200 weekly moving average. If that happens, that's extremely bullish. And we could potentially see that scenario play out over the next few months into the end of the year, in my opinion. I am expecting a massive rally in MJ into the fall and potentially into the beginning of 2024. But like I said, we're still a ways away. And if we see 2 to 3 candle closes over that 50 weekly, we could easily be heading up to that 200 weekly moving average there around $1.78 and potentially see those cross. And then really the sky's the limit. We could potentially be testing all-time highs. But full disclosure, I do own OGI Organigram in my MJ portfolio, and I'm very bullish on it for the long term. This isn't financial advice. This is my own personal opinions, and this is for entertainment purposes only. I'll never tell you what to do or to buy, sell, or hold, but this is just what I'm doing. I think Organigram is going to have long-term staying power. I'm a big fan of the products. They're very, very close to achieving multiple forms of profitability, and we'll see if they can really start to pick things up here into the fall. Like I said, expecting that across the sector, and then we could see a golden cross with the 50-day moving average below the 200-day moving average. Last time that happened, if we go and inspect that, it was back here in January of 2021, and then when that occurred, price was at $1.75, went up to around that $6.50, as I mentioned. Then we had a death cross with the 50 above the 200-day moving average. When that crosses, that's a death cross. When the 50 is below the 200, that's a golden cross. So we had the death cross occur around 250, and then all the way down to 30 cents. And now we could potentially see a golden cross, and the difference is we're way more beaten down this time around. So we could see a lot more upside. But again, we're still quite a ways away with the 50 at 46 cents and the 200 at 76 cents. So we could see, like I said, at least a few months, in my opinion, before we see those cross bearing, any unforeseen news, right? If we see a massive catalyst or a massive news event, that could change things in a hurry. But as of right now, all things unchanged, it's looking like it could be at least a few months, and that lines up with our monthly time frame as well, and some of our weekly indicators as well. But going to end it there, let me know what you think of the bear flag target of 30 cents. Do you hold OGI in your portfolio? Do you think it has long-term staying power to be, top 5, maybe even top 10 globally? But we'll continue the conversation in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. Going to end it there, though. Thanks again for joining us on The Pursuit of Wealth. It's Rob with Power Group. Have a great night. We'll see you in the next video.